Welcome to the peer review training module for stakeholder training. As discussed in the Research Department training module, the Society's research program is comprised of two departments, intramural research and extramural grants. In review, the intramural research department conducts cancer research in-house. They are ACS employees who conduct research at the corporate center in Atlanta, Georgia. The department has 5 centers: epidemiology, economic and health policy research, behavioral research center, surveillance and health services research, and statistics and evaluation. In contrast, the extramural grants department funds cancer research conducted all over the country. There are currently over 800 cancer research projects, or grants in effect, that are being funded nationwide. Funding covers the cancer research continuum, from work with individual molecules or cells to patients and populations. Funded research examines what causes cancer, how to prevent it, who is at risk, how to detect and treat cancer, and how to ensure optimal quality of life for the more than 13 million cancer survivors. Additionally, we believe that it is vital to fund not only the best and brightest researchers, but as importantly, we must also train the next generation of health professionals that will provide care for cancer patients and their families. The quality of the extramural research and training grant funding program is a direct consequence of the quality of the peer review program it uses to identify the most outstanding ideas in research for funding. This training module, therefore, will provide an overview of the goals, strategy, and logistics of the extramural grants department, give an overview of the department's program offices and peer review committees, discuss in detail what peer review means, and explain the role of the stakeholder in peer review. So how do we change the future of cancer? With research, but not any research. We strive to fund the most innovative, high-impact cancer research. We think of research as an investment in the future. We invest early to launch the careers of the most promising young scientists and health professionals. And on behalf of cancer patients, we want to provide leadership and critical support for understudied areas in cancer research. By way of these goals, and communicating the results to our constituents, the extramural research and training program provides one cornerstone of scientific credibility to the organization. To achieve these goals, our strategy includes having a primary focus on beginning investigators. 70% of our funding goes to young investigators. We fund research across the cancer continuum. As mentioned, molecules to cells, people to populations, health practice and public policy. Our approach is to leave no stone unturned in the fight against cancer. We address critical needs in health professional training. We fund training grants for people who actively care for cancer patients, nurses, social workers, and physicians. We develop RFAs to address mission priority cancer areas in cancer research, which include lung cancer, tobacco control, nutrition and physical activity, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, survivorship and quality of life, and access to care. How does this translate into the extramural research and training department's day-to-day activities? The department achieves its goals and implements strategy by reviewing roughly 1,600 applications each year. There are 2 application deadlines each year, one in April and one in October. There's approximately a 10-month time frame between application submission and grant start. And a grant term, depending on mechanism, typically runs 3 to 5 years in duration. And mechanisms will be discussed further at the face-to-face trainings. Dr. Bill Chambers is the National Vice President of Extramural Research. Under his leadership are 6 program offices led by program directors who are experts in their areas of research. Each program office oversees 3 peer review committees. The Health Professional Training and Cancer Control program has 5 committees. As mentioned, our strategy is to review applications that span the widest possible spectrum of basic, translational, and applied cancer research. We take every possible approach to looking at cancer in order to better understand its causes so that we can better prevent, detect, treat, and cure cancer. Applicants themselves can suggest the program to which their proposal belongs, but program directors look at each application to ensure that it is evaluated by the program and committee with the expertise most relevant to the application. In total, there are 20 different committees across the 6 programs. As a stakeholder, following training, you'll be assigned to serve on one of the 20 committees for a 2-year term. Going from left to right on this spectrum, let's take a look at the committees that are part of each program office. Dr. Mike Melner is the Program Director for Molecular Genetics and Biochemistry of Cancer. This program focuses on the genes involved in cancer and how alterations in those genes, mutations, deletions, amplifications, play roles in the process. The examination of the molecules involved in cancer, the proteins, nucleic acids, lipids, and carbohydrates, and how alterations in those molecules affect the disease are also of interest. This program highlights potential targets for new treatments of cancer, which attack the signaling mechanisms that control the disease. The 3 committees are DNA mechanisms in cancer, RNA mechanisms in cancer, and tumor biochemistry and endocrinology. Dr. Carl Sachs directs the Cancer Biology and Metastasis Program Office. The primary goal of this program is to provide an understanding of the nature of cancer cells so they can more effectively be treated and eliminated. Emphases include understanding the fundamental controls of normal and cancer cells with a focus on how cells regulate when to grow, when to divide, and when to die, how cells create an identity, how cells relate to the local environment, how cells relate to other cells, as well as how cells regulate when and how to move from one site to another. The committees include cell cycle growth control, cell structure and metastasis, and development differentiation in cancer. Moving along the continuum from basic to translational research is Preclinical and Translational Cancer Research, directed by Dr. Bill Phelps. This program focuses at the interface between laboratory investigations and human testing. The scope of the program includes investigating the role of infectious diseases in cancer, the synthesis and discovery of cancer drugs, the creation and use of animal models of cancer, and the role of individual genes in different types of cancer. The committees are Cancer Drug Development, Molecular Pathogenesis and Cancer, and Tumor Biology and Genomics. The Clinical Cancer and Immunology program focuses on increasing clinical research derived from advances in basic and epidemiologic research, pursuing clinical trials of new imaging agents and modalities monitoring cancer development, progression, and response to therapy, improving understanding of cancer-related inflammatory responses, integrating immunotherapy into combination therapies for cancer, and increasing fundamental knowledge of the effects of the environment and nutrition on cancer prevention, initiation, and progression. The committees include carcinogenesis, nutrition and environment, leukemia, immunology and blood cell development, and clinical research in cancer epidemiology. The Cancer Control and Prevention Research Program is directed by Dr. Ellie Daniels. This program focuses on the behaviors of individuals or healthcare professionals or healthcare systems, or interventions in changing these behaviors or systems, resulting in either a reduction in cancer risk, enhancement in detecting it early, better informed treatment decision making, or the improvement in the quality of life of patients and families. Special emphasis is placed on increasing health equity. Committees include health policy and health services research, psychosocial and behavioral aspects of cancer research, and palliative care and symptom control research. The Health Professional Training and Cancer Research Program is directed by Ginger Krawick. It provides grants in support of nurses, physicians, and social workers to pursue training in outstanding programs that must meet high standards of excellence. The immediate goal is to encourage highly qualified individuals to enter careers in cancer prevention and control practice. The grant program goal is to accelerate the application of research findings in cancer prevention and control by increasing the number of nursing and social work clinicians and researchers with expertise in and career commitment to cancer control, and generalist physicians actively engaged in cancer control. The committees include oncology social work training, physician training in cancer prevention, primary care physicians award, scholarships in oncology nursing, as well as institutional research grants. The IRG committee reviews applications from institutions for block grants of seed money to support beginning investigators. From left to right on the spectrum of cancer research and training grants, the 6 program offices encompass the full continuum of cancer research and health professional training. This is the organization used to review the applications and manage the portfolio of grants across the country. The foundation for this is a rigorous peer review system. So who exactly are the peers? The peers are expert individuals with clearly established skills in specific areas of research and training. Why does this matter? The review is not performed by society staff. However, the society program leaders are recognized experts within the areas of review. So by bringing in peers from around the country, we have access to the very best expertise in the world to evaluate the ideas and tell us where to invest the donors' dollars. And each application is reviewed by a stakeholder for cancer relevance. Our peers definitely include our stakeholder reviewers. What is peer review? By definition, peer review is the process of providing high-quality scientific evaluation that is rigorous, fair, timely, confidential, anonymous, independent, free of bias, and free of conflict of interest. What do these mean? Rigorous. Peer review is not a superficial review. It is an in-depth review. Reviewers pick the proposals apart to ensure its feasibility and innovation. It's fair. All applicants are treated the same. We make sure that our policies are designed to be fair and implemented in the fairest way possible. Timely. Remember that the time between submission of an application and activation of a grant is about 10 months. If the application review process was so slow that by the time we caught up with it, the research went forward, then we would not be much help to the research process. So it's important that we are thorough and timely. Confidential. One of the most important aspects of peer review is that it is confidential. The fact that an applicant has even submitted an application is confidential. Anonymous. The applicants being reviewed do not know who their reviewers are. This way, reviewers are free to be open and honest about their assessment. Anonymity in the review process is part of the confidential nature. Independent. The ACS, staff, or society does not tell the reviewers what they should recommend for funding. Free of bias. We are very careful to ensure that reviewers are open-minded about funding all types of cancer research. We want to ensure that there is no selective bias about what they will or will not fund. Free of conflict of interest. Each individual who serves on peer review signs conflict of interest forms. This ensures that if, for example, you are at the same institution for an application that is being reviewed, you have to leave the room while that application is being discussed. Similarly, if you have an existing relationship with the applicant, you cannot be a party to the discussion of that application, nor can you vote on the application. All of these are critical elements of peer review. So just how does an application become a grant? The first step is for a research or health professional to submit an application. Remember, there are 2 grant cycles each year, one in the spring and one in the fall. Next, applications are assigned to peer review committees. The program director assigns 2 scientific members and a stakeholder to each application under review. The scientific members submit preliminary critiques in advance of the meeting. The next step is for the peer review committees to meet in order to rate and rank the applications. The technical merits and shortcomings of each application are discussed, led by the primary and secondary reviewers. All reviewers and stakeholders provide a numeric score, which is averaged to determine the rating and rank of each application. Several weeks after the peer review committees meet, the Council for Extramural Grants recommends grants to be funded. Lastly, approved but unfunded grants are designated by Council as pay if funding becomes available. Our primary goal is to fund all applications deemed worthy by the ACS peer review system. Individual donors to the research program have provided a significant portion of these much-needed funds. Every applicant receives a review from 2 scientists or health professionals and a stakeholder, 2 written critiques with constructive feedback, a rating from the committee, the opportunity to speak with a program director to review critiques, and the opportunity to resubmit. Remember, 2 major types of contributions to cancer research include funding the most innovative research and providing assistance to every cancer researcher who submits an application, many of whom will never be funded by us. That's why every applicant receives all of these things. In order to fund the most innovative, high-impact cancer research, the critical elements of the review of an application include the qualifications, experience, and productivity of the applicant, the scientific merit of the application, how novel and creative is the science, the facilities and resources available, what is the institutional commitment to the proposed project, a career development plan, what plan does the researcher or health professional have in place in order to most effectively advance their career, and cancer relevance. What is the promise of the research as it relates to the cause, prevention, detection, treatment, and quality of life for cancer patients? It is in large part the element of cancer relevance that makes our stakeholders so valuable. The Stakeholder program was initiated in 2001. We are very proud of this program and recognize the participation of stakeholders in the peer review process as not only valuable, but vital. Stakeholders represent donors, survivors, and volunteers. They are full voting members of the committee. They're typically not scientists or physicians. They are cancer survivors and caregivers. Stakeholder participation elevates the process beyond a technical review to focus on potential benefit to cancer patients. It provides transparency in a confidential process. Current stakeholder Bob Evans has this to say about the Stakeholder program. I love what I'm doing. I realize research is the key to success, and I not only learn about the research, but also how the funds are being allocated. If you understand the whole picture, you can be a better ambassador for the society. We believe that cancer patient perspective is critical to the review process. Our plan is to finish the fight, and in order to do so, we must have research that considers the patient perspective. Thank you for your willingness to serve in this capacity.